Previously on Spenelli Speaks. Hi everyone, Danny here. Welcome back to my channel. A little bit of a different angle today. I recently really hurt my back. So I'm having a hard time moving my right side and my neck. And typically I have you guys way over here and angled up a little bit, so I'm looking kind of up at you, and that was actually really hurting when I was trying to get set up for this video. So spoiler alert, I'm going to be really kind of rigid here because I'm trying my best not to emphasize any pain while I am chatting with you today. But also a spoiler, in the description you saw that I'm doing the spoiler tag today. I was tagged by my very dear friends Scott and Nelle over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. If you have not already checked them out, make sure you do. They do a wonderful job of, creating tags and creating really great videos for our community. They talk about a lot of different books and a lot of different diverse authors. So they do a really great job. So check them out. I'm going to be doing their tag today, which again is the spoiler tag. They brought this out, and you can see I'm having a hard time here. So they brought this out in February, so I'm not too far behind, but I'm terrible lately about doing tags. In fact, I think this is the first tag I've done in 2021. I'm fairly certain it's the first one. So congratulations, Scott and Nelle. I'm getting to you first. If you know you've tagged me in a tag recently, I save all of those tags if I see that I've been tagged. So I will eventually get to everyone's tags, hopefully. But let's jump into this one and stop chatting away. So again, this is the spoiler tag. And it has a couple of different questions. It looks like there's about 8 here. And the first one being, what do you consider a spoiler? Now, for me, a spoiler is anything that reveals a big piece of the plot. Now, if it's something like you're giving me details about something, like details about a character, or you're just telling me like that you like a specific character because of one thing or another, I don't really consider that a spoiler. I'm more of like huge plot devices, huge themes, things that are supposed to be revealed later in the book. Those are the kinds of things that I consider spoilers. So if it's something that I'm supposed to learn on my own, that's what I would consider a spoiler if you told me about it. Now, number 2, does the genre you're reading impact what you consider to be a spoiler? That's an interesting question because I don't think I ever really thought about it that way. I mean, when I think about spoilers, I more or less just think about, hey, don't tell me something that I need to find out on my own. I don't think about the genre, but if you really think about it, like a huge genre that would be very difficult to know something before reading it is like mystery or thrillers. And I think probably the genre that I have had the most spoilers happen to me in is the mystery genre, and specifically with Agatha Christie books. I feel like because she is so well known, and she has been read across the world, I think there probably have been spoilers for those books because when I have read some, I've been like, I think I already knew this. So I think it's hard to say for mysteries, like those are going to get spoiled right away. And I feel too, like really popular books get spoiled because they're so sensationalized that even the trailers or the promos for them really kind of spoil the plot as well. Oh, speaking of which, number 3. All the best bits are in the trailer. Sometimes a synopsis can be too detailed. Do you research books prior to reading them, or do you prefer to know nothing about the book? I don't really know much about books until I read them, because a lot of times the books that I'm reading they're not really new books. If you know me, if you follow my channel, you know that I am a thrifter. So a lot of the books that I get are thrift store buys. So I'm not a big new book reader unless I see it at the library or someone on booktube has recommended, and I again get it at the library. Now, what I would say on that is, yes, synopsis can be too detailed, but I really don't read the synopses of books. The most I read the synopses for are if I get my Books and Treasures box. I read you guys the back of that book, but by the time I go and read that book, I'm going to have forgotten the back. But like when I get a book from the library, I never read the back. I just start reading the book. So I guess I don't really get spoiled by the back of books because I don't read them. Even when I go and get books from the thrift store, like, I really just do a lot of cover buys. Like, I don't even really read the back. Unless I'm, like, really kind of hesitant, like, do I really want to read this? Then I'll kind of read the back, but I don't even read the whole back. I just read, like, the first line or two. And if it strikes me, then I just pick it up. And if it doesn't, I put it back down. I'm sorry, I'm, like, I feel so tight. Okay, so number 4, sometimes the introduction or translator's notes can spoil the ending, especially for classics. Has this ever happened to you? Boy, has it. All the time. So I have a bachelor's and master's degree in English. So I have read a lot of classic books, and I have read a lot of books that come with footnotes and introductions and all those things. And in most cases, that's what they do, is you have to read the introduction first so you can discuss it in class. And half the time, the introduction spoils half of the book. Sometimes it even gives you the very end, like what the book is supposed to be about. So you start reading it and you're already picking up on the stuff that you're supposed to without discovering that on your own, which for me is really upsetting because I feel like the answers were already given to me before I could start reading. And that's super irritating to me. Like, I just want to read the book and have a reader's response as opposed to like playing connect the dots. I just want to be able to read the book and then come back and say, okay, in this section, I feel like this theme was represented. So that's kind of my theory on reading books. I know most recently I was reading in a group, I was reading 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and Una from the Codex Cantina brought up a really good point about how it's hard to read a book like that in one big, like one read. You really want to go back and like sit on each chapter and really dissect it and understand it more and pick out all of the literary themes and discuss those as a group. And on the one hand, that's really fantastic because that's how you're going to get the most out of the book. But most readers are just wanting to read the book and have fun with the book and understand the book. And in most cases, you have that, but in others, you don't. And I think that's where, when you're reading a classic, that introduction comes into play because it helps those readers that are going to read it in one fell swoop understand what they're supposed to be looking for. Whereas for someone like me, I am in the, school with Una where I'm like, I want to like sit and really understand. That's why my beautiful friends at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, I love Ulysses from James Joyce, because really, if you read that book, you should really read it in each section and like sit and compare it to the Odyssey and then read it as a modern classic. It's just so good, but you can't just read it. You have to like really understand each section before you move on to the next. Anyways, I really went way too far into that question. Let's move on to the next one. Name a time somebody spoiled a novel for you. I don't know that I really recall a novel being spoiled, but I think as kids, sometimes what happens is when you're talking with other kids your age and you're talking about books, you immediately go for oh, I really like this book because, and I think it probably happened more when I was younger, whereas as you grow up, you realize that those things really need to be kept quiet. So when you explain books to people, you try your best to like keep all the really extreme plot points out. And I know like like movies have spoiled books. Like if I've seen a movie and then I was like, I didn't know that was a book. And then, well, now I would have liked to read the book because obviously the book is always better. And that spoiled it, but that's like, can't be helped. But I can't really recall one instance where a book was really spoiled for me, except in reading introductions for classic books or books that I'm reading in a classroom. The next question is, have you ever spoiled a novel for somebody else? I'm sure I have. I can't like pinpoint one thing here or there. I know that I'm really bad at spoiling like TV and film. I am really bad about like just jumping right in and like saying a lot of things that, oh, maybe you shouldn't know that, because I'm so excited about it. But for books, I'm usually pretty like quiet about things. Now on my channel, I'm sure you could probably say like, Danny, you spoil all of the books for me in your reviews, because I don't know how good I am about keeping certain things under wraps, because I don't know that I really censor myself too well when it comes to spoilers in books. I know I try to, and I think in the rapid reviews, I only give so much that I really leave a lot out. I don't think there are any spoilers there, but who knows? But I'm sure, I'm not going to say I haven't, because I'm sure I probably have. Okay, the next one is, if spoilers ruin novels, are there some authors or genres you can't reread? You know, I am not a huge rereader. However, I don't feel like a book, like say for instance, you're reading a mystery novel, and obviously you would think, well, I can't reread that because I'll already have known who the murderer is, or I'll already know how that goes. However, I would find that those might be the most exciting books to reread, because you're going to be reading it from a different perspective because you do know who the murderer is. So I think, though rereading seems redundant because you're like, well, I already know everything that's going to happen, I also feel like it's really exciting because you're going in with a fresh set of eyes, and what you know is like exciting because you're like, wow, I know this, and this scene is so much different because of it. So I think that rereading for the fact that there's spoilers already there is kind of irrelevant, because you're really reading it from a different perspective. I feel like I was really redundant in that answer, but it could be, you know, the fact that my back really hurts and I'm just trying to get through this. Okay, the last question is, when reviewing, are you spoiler free? Does this limit your ability to discuss? Okay, so I think I kind of answered this already. I think I'm spoiler free, but I also think that I'm not spoiler free. So I think what I try to do is I try to be as respectful to the reader as I can by discussing as much as I can, and also being like, what is that? Ooh. Anywho, so I just try to discuss as much as I can because I would like people to know about the books and also enjoy the books. So I try to not be spoilery, but I also try to give more information because sometimes I like to be a little bit spoilered, like not big plot points, but like, am I gonna like this book? Okay, so the last part is to tag some people to do the spoiler tag. So I'm going to tag a few people that I haven't tagged in a while or at all. So I'm going to tag Janelle over at Too Fond of Books because Janelle reads a ton of mystery novels, and right now I think she's also doing some kind of mystery readathon or something, which sounds fantastic, and I've been wanting to watch the videos and I'm so behind. So check out Janelle's channel. I think she would have a really great outlook on this because it is mystery stuff. I also want to tag Gosh, I don't know who's already done this tag. Let's see. Laura from Book Bubbler. You have not done a tag in a while, so I'm going to tag you in this tag. And then I'm also going to tag Angie over at Literary Labors. I want to see what you think about this stuff as well. And that was what, 3 people. So it says to do 2 more. So I'm also going to tag Kim at Bookmarks and Breadsticks because you read a lot of food books. So I want to know, when you read fiction, because you don't read a lot of fiction, like, do you like spoilers? Because that would be interesting. I'm interested to see what you have to say about that. And then one more person, let me think here. Let's go ahead and tag. Oh, I'm going to tag Tara over at Buzzword Books because we just did a buddy read and she's awesome. So she just had a baby. Anyhow, so yeah, I want to know what you think of spoilers because I think you read a good amount of mystery as well. I think you like those Joanne Fluke books. So I want to know what you think about spoilers in books. So that was 5 people. If you yourself are looking at this and you're like, Danny, why didn't you tag me? Tag, you're it. So do this tag. Check out all of the channels that I have mentioned, as well as going over and talking to my dear friends over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I love them dearly. Thank you so much for creating this tag. I had fun with it, even though I can't move all that much. But love you all so much. I hope you are reading something great, taking care, and staying safe. Until next time, you know how it goes. Happy reading. Bye. Oh my lord. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. There is a big bug in here. Oh gosh. It's really interested in my light and it really hurt my back to do that. Like, oh lord. Spoiler alert, Danny doesn't like bugs. Oh my god. It really hurts my neck. Oh my gosh, it's right there. Oh, let me show you. Oh, okay. See my big light? Oh, you can't see it, can you? He's crawling right there. See it? Right there. Oh my gosh, it's so big.